Alright, welcome to this new kind of ongoing series I'm going to do where I talk about what decks you should build for the season, at least as of what are revealed in September, because that's when this video is being made. Now, I'm going to start this off by saying something real straight, real simple to follow. Buy the Lost World trial decks. Seriously. It doesn't matter what deck you're planning on playing this season. Buy the Lost World trial deck. My suggestion, buy at least 2 of them, or the singles for the other stuff that you don't get 4 of, because they're good cards, and they're only including like 1 copy of some pretty good cards. Alright. The Dragon World archetype for that deck is also pretty great. And the trial deck is all we're going to have till like fucking November, so... Alright, so we're going to start this with Drag Deities. Drag Deities. I'm going to put this out pretty simply. There's 4 decks. If you want to play the decks that are going to get the most support and probably be the most broken throughout the season, you're going to want to play the Drag Deity decks, Link Dragon Order, Astro Dragons, and Dimensional Dragons. That's not even a joke. Look at last season. Thunder Empire, Requiem, Chaos, and kind of Prisms for a while. Those are like the top decks for quite a while, with swords being included in there for fun. Well, that's just how Buddy Fight decides to do their shit. So Drag Deities, I'm going to be talking about both the Dragon World archetype and the Katna World archetype, because it's just buy both, build both decks, get as many cards as you can for both decks, because it looks like we're going to get a special flag for Drag Deities. That's just how it's looking right now. It's going to be the most supported deck. We already got them showing up in Gargantua Awakening, Dimensional Destroyers, and Buddy Lineage. Not to mention, we're getting 3 trial decks for Gargantua Dragon. So that means we're probably getting either 3 new worlds or 1 new world and 2 new support deck things. I don't care. Hoping for a little bit of Legend Worlds, but probably not. The Drag Deities are the standard frickin' Dragon World playstyle of have an open center, swing with your size 2, but with the twist, you can now play another size 2 during your attack phase. Whoa! You can G-Evo into a G-Evo. It's so dumb, and I hate it. Swinging for fucking 17 a turn. Yeah. Okay. Moving swiftly along. Link Dragon Order. So the reason I'm saying this one is because the whole theme of this season seems to be a tritagonist. So you want to play the decks that the protagonists are going to be playing. And Chrono or Bako or Masato, whatever the fuck his name is. He's just one of the big 3 characters with Yuga and Subaru. And honestly, of the 3 protagonist decks, this is one of my favorites. I like the idea behind it, where it's an Ancient World deck that doesn't focus on size 3s. Or closed centers. Don't get me wrong, there is still a closed center size 3 playstyle, but it's like there's 1 card for it, you know? I love the mechanics behind it. It's all about what's on your field actually mattering. Everything kind of has to work together in a way, and I think that's pretty neat. We got 4 new cards for them that are confirmed for Dimensional Destroyer. 2 of them I think are actually really good. No clue what the fuck just happened there. My recording just stopped. But 2 of them are actually good. And the other 2 I'm kind of on the fence about because I'm not too sure. Also, as people at my locals have proven, you can get to around 52 life every turn, apparently. That happened last week. That was upsetting. Yeah, the deck's good. Play it. Go for it. It's a great deck. Okay, so Astro Dragons. Once again, another protagonist deck. Being played by the lovely Prince Subaru and his KFC chicken, whose name I actually don't know. This deck is also something I like in concept. It's all about placement order to form a triangle by using your item, your center, and your left position, if I'm correct. And it's very strong. It has a good defensive and good offensive capabilities. Honestly, I think it's one of the best decks right now. in my personal opinion. It's getting support in Dimensional Destroyers, just like Link Dragon Order, and from what I've seen, it all looks good. It's just good. It's like, you want to play a good deck, play this. It's gonna be good. I feel like I'm gonna throw this in here. There's a new archetype that we got one card announcing, and it's like Drag Metal. It's a Star Dragon World archetype, and it's also Lost World, and that looks kind of interesting. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I'm gonna put it on the screen because it looks neat. And I'll probably make a video about that whole archetype as soon as we get actual information about it, rather than just one card. All right. Last deck from the Gargantua Awakening is God Punks. Oh, God Punks. Straightforward answer, play it. Just play it. It's so good. It's a strong archetype that will definitely get a lot better when Lost World comes out. Controlling your opponent's resources is so big. You can control your opponent's hand, you control their gauge, you control their field. It's so awesome. And I love it that it exists. I would like to play it, but I'm not gonna. The thing is, it helps kind of make the older meta that was kind of bullshit kind of suck. You know, because suddenly your opponent doesn't have the resources that they need. So now it's like you really want to play the new stuff because that's going to be able to actually combat God Punks and Blood Division when that comes out, which we're going to get to. But yeah, play this deck. It's super fun. It's great. It's great for this environment. It's really helping a lot with the problems that this game has been having. All right, so moving on to Superhero Wars, we'll start with battle buildings. Now, when I first looked at these, I thought, oh, it's a neat little gimmick. You know, you have your set spells that turn into size 3 monsters. That sounds cool, but it doesn't look too great. I was wrong. I played against it last week, and holy shit. I'm actually considering building this because it is very reminiscent of the Thunderstorm bots from Level Up, the Dungeon World archetype, which was all about making your size 3s, size 0s, and it's really fun. It has a lot of ways to kind of stop the control aspects, like things can't be rested, things can't be destroyed, things can't be returned to hand. And it seems pretty consistent too. Plus the set spells, Jesus Christ, are the set spells good. The person I was playing against, it was like the start of his turn took a good few minutes before, like after the charge and draw, I think it was. It was like, oh yeah, and then this effect goes off, and this effect goes off, and this effect goes off. It's just, it's kind of bonkers. My suggestion though, don't build it. Of all the Superhero Wars decks, this is the one deck that you can actually probably expect support for. But I'm not too sure because it hasn't been used in the show yet. And the person who uses it is the new commentator, so we don't know when that's going to be. But it's the only deck I would say to build, but I'm also going to say not to because so far it hasn't been used yet. So yeah. Next one is Mobile Aerial Team. This is what I think is the best deck that came out of Superhero Wars. But the problem is it's suffering from the Cosmo Dragoon situation. It's a good deck. It's got some nice mechanics behind it, but it has no character playing it. And I think for the entirety of the season, we're only going to get about 5 cards for it total. Like, all in all, throughout the season, 5 cards is going to be it. The whole mechanic is about equipping your creatures with weapons, pretty much. And you can ride the units and all that. It's I kind of like the mechanic. Will say, though, the design aspect of it's a little weird because it looks just like the anime Infinite Stratos Unbanned. But at first I thought it was about this anthropomorphic plane anime that is fucking awful. But The deck's looking good. Deck's looking really good. If you got like a regionals coming up and you're like, oh god, I need a good deck, this is probably going to be what you want. But if you're looking for a long-term deck to last you through the entire season, I don't recommend it. I really don't. Alright. Next, we got Cosmo Man. That's what I meant. So, I like it. Cosmo Man's got a nice theme. It's all about riding a unit, and every turn he returns to your hand. But he has soul, so he stays alive for a little while. It's a pretty neat idea. Will say though, I don't know honestly about my personal feelings for this deck, like as if you should play it or not, because there is a character that plays it, but he just seems so irrelevant to the grand scheme of things when you look at him. I'm gonna say don't build it, but that's up to you in the end. Cosmo Man's a good deck. It looks fun, and it's got a neat gimmick behind it. Will say this, though. Hero World needs to kind of chill out, because we got 3 Hero World fucking archetypes this season already in one set. And obviously not all of them are going to get support throughout the rest of the season. Like, come on. Take a chill pill. Give us some Legend World or Darkness Dragon World support first. Jesus fucking Christ. Okay. Electro Deities. This deck is great. The mechanic is about turning your item into a monster that possesses you. It reminds me a lot like fucking Shaman King. Oh, it's already got I think 1 support card in Dimensional Destroyers. It works really well with Lost World. I mean, I don't even think I need to say this. It's a great deck. Play it. It's top tier. It's probably going to stay top tier. So go for it. Oh, hey, a new Dungeon World archetype, and it's been played by a new female character. She won't be as good as Kazai, but let's take a look. Welp, I've picked my side for the waifu wars. So, I've personally built this deck, so I have a lot more to say about this deck. In fact, as of right now, it's the only deck I plan on building this season. I love the idea of the fairy tale characters coming out of the book. I love calling at counter speed. I love Dungeon World in general. It really does stand on its own in this current meta, and that's something that's really great to have. It works well with Lost World, and the character specifically was given a little romantic subplot with Subaru. So I'm pretty sure it's going to be getting a lot more support. We got a promo card coming out for it that's not awful. I don't know what I feel about it. I'm probably going to tech it in at a 1 or 2 of. And you can swing for 7 with a creature that you call at counter speed. Plus the gauge building is really strong, I found. I had games where I had like 10 gauge and I used it all. But yeah, if you want the best girl deck, you gotta play this deck, duh. Blood Dragon Division. So I don't like Dragon World. I really do not like Dragon World. But I will say, this is the one Dragon World archetype I actually like for this series, after Shadow Dragons, because Shadow Dragons are getting support. So this one is based on, like, this one's being played by a character who's like a secondary villain. I need to get this out here. This guy's name is Dan. They're in Japan. Everyone else, Subaru, Yuga, Masato, they all have like these Japanese names. And then there's fucking Dan. And look at this character. What the fuck? This is such an awful design. He looks retarded. But the deck itself, I actually think it's going to be really good. It's a size 3 closed center deck, which Dragon World isn't usually about. I know there are Dragon World decks that are size 3 closed centers, but I don't really know any off the top of my head. And this one, This one's actually pretty neat. The whole mechanic is about destroying your opponent's monsters by card effects to trigger your effects. Which it's like, oh, well, that's not how, that doesn't happen anymore. Thing is, their other mechanic is about forcing your opponent to attack your size 3, who has around 3 souls, and counterattack. Let that motherfucking sink in, alright? You're like, oh, I can't wait to attack. I'm going to destroy all these monsters. Well, this guy has to attack my guy and will die right after. Oh, you got a penetrator? He's not going to be the one attacking. And, like, you can have other effects trigger off of it. You know, it's like, oh, yeah, I destroyed one of your monsters, so I'll destroy another monster and deal you 5 fucking damage. It does seem to be really strong. But I'm pretty sure he is going to be a secondary character for the most part. But after, you know, Sword Boy got a top tier deck, I wouldn't be surprised if this was top tier. And finally, Ranma. Ranma's forced main deck because Lost World isn't a main deck. I'll get this one out of the way. I don't like Ranma. Ranma's a piece of shit and is a really bad character. Play it. Dimensional Dragons. Play it. It's main villain deck, as we've seen from Kyoya's deck and from the Chaos. The villains will have a strong deck. The deck seems to be focused on destroying your own monsters for effects and swarming the field with as many Dimensional Dragons as you can to gain effects. It has a slight control aspect that will most likely get some more support to stay with the meta. Build it. You're going to have the deck anyways from the trial deck because Lost World. But it's not terrible though. Though personally, I hate it. I fucking can't stand any Dragon World archetypes anymore. I have like 10 Dragon World flags and I just want to burn them. I have a box of Dragon World I'm going to burn. But yeah, that is what I think about all the current decks that are coming out. And I hope it kind of gave you guys a little insight as to what to play for this season. Final conclusions though, as I said at the beginning of the video, it's Astro Dragons, all the drag deities, the bullshit Link Dragon Order, that thing, and Dimensional Dragons. They're the safest bets for you. Also, I want to throw in here that Swordsman archetype that's coming out for Cottonelle World. Don't build it. It's a one-off. It might be good, but there's no point. The character's dumb. It's just there to fill space. It's just dumb. Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed. I'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.